Hello, Jacket Nation. Dr. Plew and crew coming here with a staff update. Just want to introduce the team to you that has been working on our school reopening plan, COVID-19 plan. We got Claire Conklin, we got Courtney Lisk, we got Christy Ponder, we got Jared Gatewood, we got Rebecca Kiker and Elena Smith here. And you can see we're all here demonstrating a properly social distance classroom and wearing our masks. Just like we will be doing here in just a few weeks when we get ready to start school. But I do want to come to you over the next couple of weeks as we develop plans and more information on what's going on with our plan here at Forest Hill. So I'm going to try to run through several things here as quickly as possible with you. So first of all, instructional expectations. I'm going to start with those because I bet those are the things you're worrying about the most as you get ready to start your PLC days. How are you going to meet the instructional expectations? So here we go. Let's talk a little bit about what's the difference between a virtual and a remote learner. So a virtual learner is going to be the definition we use for a student who chooses not to come into school at all. That will be a survey that will be going out next week, and we'll have that list hopefully by Monday the 27th and begin looking at some rescheduling of that. It will cause master schedule changes. And many of you have inquired about what it means to teach a virtual section or be a virtual teacher, and we will talk about that as we go along, but mostly just understand that our goal is to spread those virtual sections out so that planning can occur between teachers who are teaching students virtually as opposed to the students who are coming in. Remote learning is just a definition of what happens when you're not in school. So everybody will be doing remote learning at some point. Virtual learners will be doing it all the time. All right. We're gonna start off with students coming in 1 day a week, as you already know, Monday through Friday. There's going to be an alpha breakdown. 25% of our students will be coming each of those days. Of course, that won't break down perfectly, the 25%, but it'll be close. And we've already had some questions. What happens? Can students come in more than 1 day? And the answer to that is not right away. We've made one concession for our TTA students, and we're working on that. But initially, we're just going to start off and see how it goes with everybody coming 1 day a week. No exceptions to that. After that, we may start to look at possibilities of some students coming more than 1 day. But there's a lot of issues around coming in more than 1 day that create some equity questions. All right. The other thing we'll talk a little bit about is live synchronous instruction versus on-demand instruction. Live synchronous would mean all your students signing into your class at the same time, whether they're in class or not, and working literally synchronously with you while you taught live. The on-demand idea would be that you've pre-recorded videos and placed stuff onto your Canvas page for students to do. We are going to officially endorse at Forest Hills the idea of on-demand learning because we're worried about the technology side of the live synchronous learning, as well as we're worried a little bit about all of our students' ability to get into there. I'm not going to tell a teacher you can't teach live synchronously, but if you decide you're going to do that at some point, you need to make sure that that's going to be available for students to consume at a later time, as we just don't believe all of our students will be available exactly at the same time due to home life, watching younger siblings, and just other things going on in their lives. So just keep that in mind. We are also going to officially endorse this idea of 60 to 90 minutes worth of work for each class each day. Let me explain what that means, because some of you may say, wait a second, it's supposed to be hour for hour. We want it to be hour for hour as much as possible, but please understand that we've got to consider the differences in our students. So this 60 to 90 minute idea works like this. The work that you're planning should be designed for your fastest student to finish in 60 minutes and your slowest students to finish in 90 minutes. Unless you want to differentiate instruction in a different way, we feel like this is the best way to look at this, because if you're not careful, if you set your instruction up for 90 minutes for your fastest student, we could have EC students, LEP students, and just general slow workers taking somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 or plus hours to finish that work, and that daily load for many of our kids would be way too much. So we're just looking at that as a general guideline, 60 to 90. Now that could differ somewhat between an honors and a CP class. The amount of work that it would take a fast CP learner versus a fast honors worker, you would have to gauge that. All these times are approximate, but we really want to tell you that mostly just to get you to consider the differences in your learners as you look at rolling out your remote learning. You are going to roll out instruction for each of your classes every day. Monday through Friday, or at least every day that's on the calendar. But we're asking you to consider the difference between your quick and your slower workers. All right? You don't know who they are yet, but you can base that off of previous years of experience. All right. Quality versus quantity of work is another thing that our team has been talking a lot about. Thinking about as you're trying to decide how much work to give and what is 60 versus 90 and engaging that. Just think about it's really the quality of the work as opposed to quantity of work that's important. When we look at that 60 to 90, we're really saying that should include what you would normally do for homework. Again, an honors class, you might beef that up just a little bit. CP classes, be really careful, but just consider that too much work for some students really could, in this environment, make it really difficult on the days that they come into school. So when they come in, you could have a lot to do with those students because they're just so far behind. So just be thinking about those ideas of quality versus quantity of work, 60 to 90 minutes, gauging fast versus slow workers. All right. Also, continue to talk about your got to know versus nice to know standards, especially in your CP classes. How much are you going to have time, even in this environment where we're now moving to 5 days a week? It's still going to be really difficult to get to everything. This is not going to be the same as being in school 5 days a week. It's going to be a lot closer, and we're going to try to make it as close as possible, but it's going to be different. So continue to have those conversations in your PLCs. That got to know standards, in particular in CP classes, is really important. You can see you're going to have challenges with your mask. All right. Face-to-face time in the classroom, we are really endorsing the idea that when students are in your class, you should be focusing on building relationships, one-to-one, small group conferencing, time for hands-on work, assessments, small group instruction, giving students lots of feedback when they're in your class. I don't know that when students are in your class, if you're going to be focusing as much on teaching during that time, whole group. Because you're not going to have a whole group, first of all, but second of all, you're just not going to have that access to them, and that one day a week when they're in there, you're going to want to be able to do a lot with them. So think about, as you set up your courses, you should have 5 days of remote learning on a 5-day week. And even on the day that a student comes into your class, that gives you a backup plan that if you're working with another student or a small group of students, other students have things to do in the class without you having to worry about creating a second lesson plan. They're just signing on to the Canvas page and doing that day's work in Canvas while you work with the other students. All right. So, Friday expectations. I want to make sure we talk a little bit about Fridays. Fridays are going to be your day where you have no students coming to school. My mind, that is a protected day for teachers to plan and participate in their PLCs. You're still going to have your planning period during the week. We may have to take away bits and pieces here and there. We're going to work really hard not to do that. But on Fridays, we feel like that's going to be a crucial time for you to get prepared for the next week. But there's a trade-off there also. If we're going to take that attitude of protecting it, we need you to do that in return. Don't want to look at Fridays as optional teacher work days every week where you have time to go and do lots of personal things. If it would have been a normal school day, then we need to treat it that way, only with the idea that Fridays are PLC planning days. So let's just keep that in mind and keep the request to do things on Fridays at a minimum, with the idea being that, you're protecting that day as hard as we're protecting that day to get ready for the next week. All right, let's see. All right, several questions about COVID leave. What happens if I come in and I get sick? If you come in and you get sick and you have a documented case of COVID, you go get tested, there is going to be a procedure for how you can deal with that. Up to 10 days right now are being given to you for documented COVID leave. There's a code for it. You'll have to work through Donna with that, but that's a concern that I've heard a few of you. I don't want to burn up my sick leave if I come in and get sick. If you come in and get sick, get documented, there is leave, okay? Freshman orientation and open house. We're looking at how to do these virtually. You'll be getting requests to do several things. For freshman orientation, we want to get together sports and activity, videos for students, and then for open house is going to be one of the big asks for you. We're going to get a sample. Actually, Ms. Claire Conklin has already agreed to do a sample, but she's going to put together what we're going to ask all of you to do, which is a quick video where a parent can go into a grid, see that their first period teacher is Claire Conklin for Earth Science, click on that, and Claire will do everything that she would normally do at open house, including introducing her Canvas page, her syllabus, expectations, grading policies, everything that she would normally do at an open house or a Meet Your Teacher. She'll do that in that video. Then the parent can go in, click on the 4 links to the 4 teachers their child has, and get a good explanation of what their teachers' expectations are. And we'll be asking you to do those videos and possibly even upload them to yourselves to a grid that we will be creating where you'll have a spot. So be thinking about that video. Obviously, you might not do that today, but be thinking about getting that video done. Summer PLC days. Don't forget, you got your 5 summer PLC days. If you haven't started using them, now that you're starting to hear more information from us on instruction, you can start working on those, getting those days and starting to figure out what your Canvas page is going to look like during this COVID time. All right, cleaning expectations. There's tons of new cleaning protocols, not necessarily for you always to do, but just want to make you feel like the district and everybody's thinking really hard about how to keep things clean and keep supplies in the building so that things are safe for you once you return. All right, couple things of good news. I'm going to finish on these 2 things. This team has browbeat me. I was totally against this idea. But they have fought hard for me to tell you that as long as we're in B COVID schedule, we will have Jeans Day every day. Teachers can wear jeans every day as long as we're in Plan B for COVID-19. So that's a little bit of a win for you. You're going to have small groups. You're going to be moving around a lot, working with students. Hopefully that's something that you'll enjoy and make you more comfortable. Also, we are now committed. We said lunches were going to be eaten in the cafeteria. We have talked about it, and we feel like with the ABCD plan and looking at the numbers that we're going to be able to supervise kids socially distanced in the cafeteria. Still going to be a much different schedule. We're actually going to go to 5 lunches, so those lunches are going to be a little bit shorter than the average lunch. Again, we'll get that information out to you with the COVID Bell schedule. But we will be able to watch kids in the cafeteria for you so that you can have your lunch duty free. And that's hopefully another thing that's very positive. Overall, the COVID Bell schedule, we're going to take jacket time out of the schedule, take 15 minutes and add it to first block and 15 minutes and add it to third block. That'll help us accommodate the 5 lunches during third block, but it'll also help us accommodate the morning schedule, which is going to be a little more challenging, get everybody in the building. We got to take everybody's temperature, ask some questions. It's just going to be a little bit slower process getting everybody in. So we think 15 minutes at the beginning of the day for kids to get their breakfast, eat their breakfast, get acclimated, get everybody into your class. Then we'll actually start first period. So first period will be longer, but we're kind of expecting the first 15 minutes to be a little bit of a slush time for us to get everybody in. Okay, we'll get that. We're not going to push all that stuff out to you because we're still tweaking everything on paper, but these are some things you can start kind of thinking about. There won't be jacket time in the COVID Bell schedule. It doesn't really make sense to us. You're going to have the kids in small groups once a week anyway, so jacket time is just something you can take care of kind of yourself. Just going to be more difficult to do. All right, a little bit long there. Ms. Lisk has been really pushing this idea that all videos need to be 6 to 9 minutes, okay? That's what research is telling her. We're going to officially say to you that any video you make that you're pushing out in your Canvas course as part of teaching, we're going to say that needs to be a maximum of 15 minutes, okay? Maximum of 15 minutes. Ms. Lisk is fighting hard to let you know that even shorter is better. That research is saying that after 6 to 9 minutes, a lot of people start to tune out videos. So we're just going to tell you that research is telling us that shorter the better. This video is going to be about 14 minutes long, so I have lived within my maximum 15-minute edict to you. Now, if some of your videos are a little longer than 15 minutes, so be it. We're not going to come and check on it, but we're just telling you, like, we don't think it's a good idea for your Canvas course to include a 60-minute video of you teaching. It ought to be a 15-minute video along with assignments that they're going to do after that. Those are our official endorsements. All right, I think that's all I've got for you right now. We miss you. Can't wait to see you. There's your team that's been working really hard. I'm proud of them. Hope all of you have a great day. Remember, one dream, one team, one dream. That's our new hashtag this year. One team, one dream. Have a great day.